wanted to do a review of the 2016 Rubicon that we have here at ATV together. We've had this ATV for about 18 months now, so coming up on a year and a half. Got about 700 miles on the unit so far, and it's done pretty good, so I wanted to kind of do a recap. Had some people ask about it as well. The unit's pretty much factory as it stands, haven't made a lot of changes. Got some things in the works, but wanted to do this review before we made any significant changes so that we could kind of have a look at what you would expect if you were to pick one of these up off the showroom in kind of a factory state. So kind of coming around the back here, going around the unit, you see that still got the factory rims and tires. This is the DCT, so it's got the automatic transmission, the dual clutch. It does have independent rear suspension, and it does have electronic power steering as well. So it's one step down from the Deluxe, which comes with aluminum alloy wheels. So this size quad is pretty good. It's not necessarily a race quad by any means, like some of the big bore Polaris and Can-Am, but we found that it really gets the job done, and we ride it two up a lot. And I'm not a small person, and me and my daughter will go riding with a bunch of folks, good friends, and we have a good time with it. So one of the only things that I've added so far is an LED bar. It's about a 30-inch LED bar. You can see the 6 pods on each side actually have a wide lens in them, and the ones in the center are more focused, so that really helps light it up at night, in addition to the big single headlight. Don't have any of the luggage or baggage on the quad right now that we normally would have. See, the factory skids are on there. That may be something that we look at upgrading, along with maybe some thoughts around wheels and tires in the future. Factory shocks as well. They've done the job, although we know we would really enjoy having some aftermarket shocks as well. So it's something that is on the list. Not sure when that would happen, but it's something that we're thinking about in terms of a potential upgrade. So moving back to the control systems here, everything is really user-friendly on this model. Dashboard, the heads-up display is very easy to manipulate. I did add the switch for the LED up on the top left, the area of the cluster, and it's worked pretty good right there. Shot here of the four-wheel drive controls, so the ability to just push a button and be in four-wheel drive, and also lock the diff with the lever here, as I'll show you, is really nice to have on the fly. You can see the switch for automatic or electronic shift there, right below that. And on the other side you have the up and down buttons, which are for the actual shifting. So, shot of the sway bar and the rear swing arm, kind of moving around to the back. Again, the shocks here, I've got them on the stiffest setting preload for the rear and the second to stiffest setting on the front currently. And that seems to work pretty good and give us a stable ride. It's an aftermarket 2-inch hitch receiver that I added that's worked perfect, and it's also got a nice hook on it, or loop that you can hook up and tow pretty easily with if you just need to be pulled or pull somebody. I highly advise to any ATV adding one of those quick connect for your battery tender. It also works good for some other accessories like an air pump, for example. Factory pipe still on it. That's something that would be nice to replace. Not sure. That would probably be farther down the road if we ever do that. I don't really need it for sound, but it would be, they're always fun to have pipes on ATVs, so it's something that is out there as a possibility. So what you see there is actually the rear brakes, and it is an amazing system. there. That big disc for the rear brakes, light years better than the old Rubicon I had, a 2002, which had sealed rear drums, which would fill up with water and rust and completely seize. So here's the low to drive shift range. So you have 5 gears in low, 5 gears in drive. So it's kind of like a 10-speed. So we also have this little storage there, 12-volt accessory plug. Now, one of the only other upgrades that we have on the bike so far is this Uni air filter. It seems to have worked good for us so far. So enough jibber jabber about all the specs. Let's talk about the quad, how it's done for us. We ride trails at different parks in the southeast United States, ranging from as basic as gravel roads to very technical black diamond trails, big rocks, steep hills, off cambers, ruts, some pretty dangerous trails. Check out all the videos on the channel if you haven't seen them. There's a lot of good footage of these trails, us going through these trails. We have not had any issues at all with the quad. Again, we ride often with 2 people on the quad. I do have a soft rear seat baggage that I'll show in an upcoming video that helps provide comfortable seating for 2. The seat in itself is amazing on this 4-wheeler. They redesigned it for the new Rubicons to provide, it has extra padding, very well shaped, very comfortable quad to ride for long hours. The locking front diff comes in very handy, but you find that you really don't need it much, but when you do, it's nice to have in those technical rock crawling sections especially. We've never had an issue with the mid-size power plant. There's never been a point where I thought I needed more power. Having the low gear range for the DCT model, I think, addresses that for the most part, because in low gear you have as much power and torque as you would ever need to get through those sections. Again, this is not a race quad or a speed demon, so we don't use it for that, and we didn't buy it for that purpose. As I said before, I came from a 2002 Honda Rubicon and absolutely loved that thing. Ran it into the ground, and I really wanted to go with another Rubicon. And after owning this model for almost a year and a half, I have absolutely no regrets. The reliability there is super easy to do maintenance on. I do my own maintenance, have the service manual, which I would recommend to anybody, and I feel comfortable working on it as well. It's a Honda, and that kind of speaks for itself. You do pay a little bit more for them, but the reliability sure is nice to have, and you know you can get your money's worth, and it will get you home at the end of the long trail ride. So for those of you wondering how well this 500cc quad will haul you around if you're a bigger person, to give you an idea, I'm a little over 6'1" and around 350 pounds. I also carry my 13-year-old daughter with me many of the times we go riding, so we've got her on there as well, plus at least 50 pounds worth of gear. So it's definitely capable of carrying a good amount of weight around the trails all day long. And I feel that even at my size, it's very comfortable. I don't feel cramped at all. And I feel like it has no problem moving me and my size around like I want it to. So where do we go from here? Well, I like to ride vehicles in their stock form for a while, which I've done with this one, to understand what it's capable of in stock form. And this one has really impressed me, and it being at this point of its life, I think it's time to try out a few things. We've got some things in mind and got some surprises coming, so hopefully you guys can maybe check out some of the other videos on the channel, see some cool places to go riding. Maybe we'll see you guys out on the trails, and you're welcome to subscribe and kind of keep in tune with the channel to check up on us and see how we're doing. We like to hear from the community. We'd love to read some good comments from you guys. We already have a lot of good folks posting some stuff out there. And any questions that you have as well, feel free to leave them with us, and we can try to help you out as much as we can. So overall, the 2016 Honda Rubicon, we give it a solid A for our ranking. And we look forward to some really cool upgrades in the near future. And if you stay tuned for the end of this video, we'll give you maybe a little teaser as to something that might be coming down the pipe.